iPhone 17 Pro Max versus the iPhone Air speed test. Let's go ahead and begin this video with a boot up in 3, 2, go, and see which one can get there first. Now, I've had the iPhone 17 Pro Max and Air since they launched, and I was actually doing quite a few comparisons between these devices in separate videos, but we never actually did a speed test. Even though they do have the same A19 Pro, they have different thermals, they do have the same gigs of RAM. I want to see if that statement, it's basically the same thing, just has a single camera, holds true. Well, so far, not the case. The iPhone 17 Pro Max turning on first over the iPhone Air. People say I don't really care about a boot up, but sometimes your phone can freeze up, and the 17 Pro Max will go ahead and boot that thing back up quicker than the iPhone Air. All right, guys, so when we go ahead and test Face ID, that part is not really even a test. I mean, they both have the same exact sensors. They're gonna unlock exactly the same. That's not even something to really talk too much about, so we'll just skip on past that. Now, when we talk about the actual software, we're on iOS 26.2.1, same on the right. You'll notice they do have the same exact clock speed as well at 4.26 gigahertz. For some reason, mine says 11.4 gigs RAM, 11.5 on this side. They're both listed at 12. Much difference in the thickness. That is a big deal, but that thickness allows for better thermals on the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Now, when swiping through device, it's pretty much exactly the same, just like with the Face ID. Unlike Android devices, when we compare those, these are both iOS and they're both on A19 Pro, so it's essentially identical there. But let's see if they'll launch the applications first. We'll do some RAM management, we'll check the actual benchmarks, and we'll also do some video rendering to see if there's a real difference. And we'll also do a real world test as well as a speed test. All right, so everything is going to be closed out for both phones here now. You'll see right there. Let's go ahead and go to calendar. You can see exactly the same launch. Let's swipe out of there. And when you actually see the Air side by side with the iPhone 17 Pro Max, it starts to look a little bit smaller. It feels like a big, thin phone when you're not putting it next to the Max. But when you put it next to the Max, you can see that size difference. It's not small, but the screen definitely doesn't feel as large when you stack it up. Let's go into weather, a little bit faster on the right. I do think this is simply just going to come down to, I was looking at what's the best time to go to sleep over here on ChatGPT for a specific alarm setting. Let's go into Gemini over here, just random stuff. You'll see right there on the right. But here's the thing, when you are launching, things here for the iPhone Air and the Max, they do have the same animation, so it's not like you get any difference like on certain Android device comparisons. One will have slightly better animations, the other maybe a little bit snappier. Let's go into X here, and you'll see right here, that was first to load on the right. Again, this is just network here. Yeah, so for daily tasks, looks like the Max and the Air are not even semi the same. They're exactly the same. Let's go into Subway Surfers, and that launched first on the right. Now, again, I do have more photos loaded up on my SSD for the iPhone 17 Pro Max. So I do wonder if that plays into the load times. You'll see right here, Dead Trigger 2. That was faster on the left. It could also just come down to my finger is not going to be exactly perfect on these two right here, which one loads, because I do believe that for daily tasks, I've used both extensively, I do feel like I'm not using a different phone every time. That was the iPhone 17 Pro Max, but here's the deal. I do feel the heat start to come on with the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Not with the 17 Pro Max, excuse me, the iPhone Air, after I start pushing it a little bit. And we're gonna check the heat after we open all these apps and reopen them again, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. You can see Free Fire launching first there. It was the same, it's just one is loaded in the same exact account, so we might have that issue on a couple of games here, maybe the Call of Duty as well. But yeah, if you are playing the game for a while, you're in a match, you keep going, you're gonna get a little bit of a issue, I think, with the iPhone Air with the heat if you have no case on it. Not necessarily like annoying, it's just you might feel it up here. It's around the camera area, up in that area, you'll feel some warmth that might be a little uncomfortable. if you don't like a phone to get warm, especially under a heavier game like Destiny or Call of Duty, something of this sort. You definitely will feel it. It's just something to mention. And that's where people who want top performance everything will probably prefer the Max. You'll see over here, not a big issue. Both of them do a very good job with graphics. One of the things about the iPhone still is that I notice a lot of the games still look like more console quality than some Android games. That's just something I noticed lately. It's almost as if the developers spend more effort and time to craft the games to look a little bit better. Now that's not the case for all games. There are some games that are specifically natively designed for Android, but I just feel like there's more effort put on some of the iOS side of things. And you'll see right here as we go into, let's go into iPhone here on both. If we swipe through, you'll see same scrolling because they are both ProMotion displays, not a substantial difference. We'll go into Geekbench 6, and it feels like, again, throughout this video, it looks like I'm using the same exact phone. But I do want to see if the network speed is different. We're going to render that video in a little bit as well. So let's fly through this RAM management and just kind of see what happens here. The iPhones are doing really good at this, like, they made the animations a little faster when you go through them, although they still have that animation that's very visible to make it look visually pleasing, which is when it flies out, you kind of like feel it like moving. You've seen it right there. You just kind of feel it moving. It's like they're not trying to make it so fast that it doesn't look nice, is what I'm trying to say. So you definitely can still enjoy that while having a little bit faster app openings than they used to have back in the day. Although I do think it's going to get way better on 27, because I've been hearing that Apple's going to be focusing on the stability with iOS 27. So we're probably not going to see any rehauls, anything like that when it comes to visual looks. They're not just going to put out liquid glass and then automatically change it up right away. They don't usually roll like that. So we're probably going to see a substantial improvement to the way animations look, the stability of the system on iOS 27. So I'm looking forward to that. But here on the RAM management, it looks like the iPhone Air has had no real reload issues right here. Now, since they've both been launching apps, let's give them a quick check on the heat real quick before they cool down too much. 87 degrees right there. Let's go ahead and give a check here. You'll see 99 up there. I told you, up in the camera, 100 degrees up there. So definitely a little bit warm. Let's see if we can find a warmer spot here on the iPhone Max. And you can see we can't even get above 90. So yeah, the iPhone 17 Pro Max, you've seen it right there, can stay much cooler when you're actually pushing phone, opening a bunch of apps, using applications. So here are your Geekbench results, and yes, I have adaptive power mode off this entire video, including for the benchmarks, and you'll see that the iPhone 17 Pro Max actually lost in the single core, which is strange to me, but it won in the multi-core. So the iPhone 17 Pro Max slightly ahead, but those are, I mean, the results are almost identical on both, which is a little bit surprising considering the Air doesn't have the same thermals. So it was able to do pretty good in the CPU benchmark. That probably didn't push it hard enough to really throttle it back at all. But let's go to my results on Wildlife Extreme. Now, running this though, I seen that the iPhone Air did get a much worse score. It got 3722 and 22.3 FPS, so that's a notable difference, better than 75% of devices on the market, with the iPhone 17 Pro Max getting 5742 and 34.4 FPS. Now, I ran this after the Air was actually pretty warm, and so I do have to state that the iPhone 17 Pro Max, probably because of its ability to keep it cool, was probably able to give it the best performance. If I ran this test with the phone nice and cool, it probably would have got a much better score on the Air. But I'm just trying to show you that the Air definitely doesn't have the better sustained performance between these two if you're deciding to pick up the Air or the Max. So let's go ahead now and run a quick speed test here between both. This is going to be Wi-Fi speed test to see what kind of network performance we're going to get on here. And you can see 470, nearing 500, 420, 440, 450, and just about what I usually get in the majority of my app tests here, you'll see we're gonna get 485 and going for 40, 41, just about usual. That's usually what we get on these videos. Okay guys, so now let's run the iPhone Air. Should be about the same. Overall performance shouldn't be too different, but it is pulling in 440, 470, 485, and a little bit less. It's looking like it's gonna finish near the same though. Nope, wait a minute, here we go. Oh, very close. Nope, slightly less, but almost. I mean, we're talking about 2 megabytes per second, like that's nothing. So that's the same performance here on the iPhone Air for when it comes to the network Wi-Fi speed test. So pretty good stuff there for the Air. Again, the Air is not necessarily the underdog, but it is the cheaper phone here. So what we're gonna do now is, I know they have different titles, but it's the same exact video. We're gonna go ahead and render a 3 minute and 54-second video here. This is shot in 4K. Let's just see which one can export it faster. So let's go ahead and just hit save video, and we'll be back when whoever wins. We're gonna see whoever wins. I'm gonna speed the video up a little bit though. And if you've seen that, it was very, very close, but the iPhone 17 Pro Max just edged out the iPhone Air, but it was within like a second. So, and that's about a 4-minute 4K video. So the iPhone Air is very capable still of even doing those heavy tasks, even though it does get warmer to the touch. It's not like anything like the 15 Pro Max. So the Air is a pretty impressive product. So let's go ahead and do one final thing. We'll go ahead and just see how fast they can launch the cameras. I don't think it's going to be a hard task for either of them. Let's bring in the iPhone 17 for this, and we'll go ahead and just hit the cameras, and you see it's probably coming down to how fast my thumb clicks each. But you'll see no substantial difference, but there is a substantial difference in the amount of lenses you do get between them. So wrapping it up here, I've never done a speed test between these, but I think our conclusion is this. The iPhone Air is essentially the same performance, has the same A19 Pro chip, and I think for most tasks, you wouldn't notice a single difference. So it is a good pick price-wise if you're okay with the single camera, because you're gonna save yourself $300 or so. You're gonna get a bigger screen in the base 17 and have the same chip as a 17 Pro Max. But if you want a phone that will stay cooler to the touch under demanding use, like graphically intensive long sessions of games, or maybe even longer video renders like 12-15-minute videos plus long form, the iPhone 17 Pro Max is going to be the move. I just think it does a bit better job with that. It also has significantly longer battery life, but from the area of speed, the 17 Air, or the 17 Air, the Air is essentially nearly the same. I would say it's about 98% as fast as the iPhone 17 Pro Max in most real world tasks. If you found the video helpful, entertaining, or just informing, you just enjoyed it, whatever, click the like button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We got more content coming your way for the rest of 2026, including the upcoming S26 Ultra series. So I look to see you then. And thank you very much for watching. Nick here. Be sure to be well and have a great day. Peace.